皆さん、また来てくださってありがとうございます。こちらはマンハッタンニューヨーク水曜日の午後です。ということでね、木曜のディベートから月曜最高裁の大統領免責特権の判決から、もうね、左翼メディアがもうパニック状態です。もう本当に朝から晩までもうあることないことなんだかよくわかんないんですけども、もうとんでもないパニック状態になってるので、もう今回はね、彼らが落ち着くまで若干待つということで、実際にはね、7月11日にトランプさん、ニューヨークのケース、例のケース、冤罪ですけど、量刑が7月11日に出るって言ってたのが9月に持ち越されました。9月といえば皆さん、ディベートが待っておりますよ。2回目のディベートをまた、そんな犯罪者と討論なんかできないというキャンセルをするための布石なんでしょうか。9月に延ばされたということは。ちょっとわかりませんけれども、もしくは民主党党大会が8月の19日なんですね。だから8月の19日までに最終候補者を決定ということなので、それまでにバイデンさんから誰かに変わるのか、それとももうそのまま続行でいくのかっていうことなので、今ニュースなんかを見てると、このバイデンをあと4年続行しろっていうアンポンタンチームと、それからこれじゃバイデン、民主党がトランプに負けちゃうから別のものを立てろって言ってるメガドナー。要はバイデンの後ろにいるハンドラーさんたち、グローバリストの意見と分かれているから、8月19日までになんとかバイデンを説得して自ら降りますと言わせるのか、いやいや僕は絶対免許返納しないっていう感じのを通されちゃうのかっていうことを今じっくりと見守っております。これが落ち着いた頃にまた報告をいたします。で、今日の動画はタッカーカールソンです。なかなかね、面白い視点で、私もね、まるっきり同じことを思ってたんですね。ちょうどディベートが終わった時に。だから、ちょっと面白いなと思って乗っけてみます。皆さんもじっくりご覧ください。どうぞ。
The presidential debate, the U.S. presidential debate. And maybe some of you saw it. And if you did, well, it was amazing. It was amazing on every level.But what was especially amazing was afterward they went to the panel of assembled Democratic operatives posing as journalists, and all of them were shocked to discover that Joe Biden has dementia. They couldn't believe it. What? Oh my gosh! He's non-compos mentis! No way! Are you serious? And I'm thinking to myself, what year is it? 2024-ish? Middle-aged people identify with that? Okay, 2024, people are saying.It was 2019 that I heard from a friend of mine who was friends with his sister, Val, that the family was very upset because Joe has dementia and he's running for president. And, I said this on TV, by the way, at the time, and was denounced as a racist or something. I mean, everything, in the United States, that's just the all-purpose term for shut up. Racist! It's I think he's white. Shut up, racist! Okay. Anyway, But his sister had told a friend of mine, an actual friend of mine, one of my neighbors, that the family was upset and that the family was convinced he needed to kind of get it out of his system by running for president. But of course, no one's going to make Joe Biden the nominee because we had Pete Buttigieg for that, who's now it's a joke. But at the time, they were people are going to love Pete Buttigieg. He's incompetent, but he's gay. Great. And then people were what? No.So they had to go to Joe Biden, and he actually became the nominee and then somehow became the president. But it was obvious the whole time that he had no idea where he was, and that it was cruel, and that his grasping, horrible wife, who poses as a doctor, was pushing this so she could go to state dinners. And everyone knew this. There's not one person who didn't know this. And when you travel outside our borders, people are always so nice about other people's countries. You're having dinner at someone's house, the food is appalling.Well, it's so good, you know what I mean? But even given the high standards of politeness offered to foreigners in foreign lands, everywhere I've traveled around the world for the past 4 years, and it's been a lot of countries, people are so Joe Biden, how is he? Well, I think he has dementia. He certainly does. Everybody knows, because they have, I can't remember, the internet. and it has video on it, and it takes about 15 seconds to determine the leader of the most powerful country in the world with this mass nuclear arsenal involved in 2 simultaneous wars doesn't know what day it is. And that's really scary. But if you come to the United States and you're in the media envelope, this like fake world created by this disinformation specialists who run our media, that's never mentioned at all. It's like everyone it would literally be like everyone pretending Jacinda Ardern is like a legitimate person. But everyone sort of plays along like it's not happening. And this the whole Emperor's New Clothes story is based on this phenomenon, which is a very human phenomenon. But for the media today to be like, wow, we just got the diagnosis, this is shocking, he can't run for president. Kind of, either they're really stupid, like too stupid to breathe unaided, or they're liars. They're truly dishonest. They're hiding the obvious from you. And I'm betting on the latter, but even more amazing was the response to that. So remember that our media are not just observers of reality or describers of reality, people who bring you the story first on the scene. No, they're the gatekeepers to reality. You don't know what the world looks like except through them. Like they are the pipeline through which all information flows. In the United States, they're political actors. They work for a political party, in effect, if not officially. Like they all work for the Democratic Party. In my country, and probably here, the self-described mission of everyone in the media is to save democracy, and democracy, simply defined, is the idea that the people own their country. You know, it's their country, and they hire people to represent them. And all of a sudden today, these defenders of democracy are like, well, I mean, obviously Joe Biden's got Alzheimer's, and he's super unpopular, he can't win, therefore we need to replace him. And it's like, wait a second, he was already elected in the biggest landslide ever. I don't know if you knew that. Like, he got over 1 billion votes, you know, in our country. Because he's just so unbelievably popular. People just love Joe Biden. It was a landslide, literally a landslide in 2020. And that gives him the authority to do whatever he wants, whether you like it or not, because so many of your neighbors voted for him. You don't know their names. But it happened, okay? It happened. It's sort of like COVID deaths. You never actually met anybody who died of it, but millions did die. Everybody voted for Joe Biden except you, so shut up. So he has this mandate, this moral mandate to do literally whatever he wants, import 30 million people illegally, and you're not allowed to say anything about it, racist. And yet, at the same time, and then Democratic primary voters, just like the other day in our system, the members of the party vote for their nominee. He's elected by his own party. People actually went to the polls, cast a ballot for him. But all of a sudden, because he might not win against the orange man, we need to take his job away from him by force and let the donors put someone in there who can beat the orange man, because that's democracy. And that made me start to think for the first time, maybe we're defining the word democracy a little differently. Maybe you've got a different understanding of what that means. Maybe you think democracy is when we do exactly what you and 8 of your friends want. That's what you think it is. Whereas I think democracy is when you do the will of the majority over time.